Welcome and thank you for joining me for this video. Towards the end, I'll go through the potentials on how a new investor can invest in a cryptocurrency that would allow for future gains. I would say to hedge against inflation, but I don't think that's the correct term. I think the correct term would be for mad gains. Again, this is not financial advice. I am just a dude on the internet who has experienced mad gains and am trying to teach other people if they can actually listen. Just listen and hear us out. Hex is not a scam. Like, the chart doesn't look the best at the moment, but have a look at the other cryptocurrencies, the major cryptocurrencies. All right, I'll get into that in a second. We can see political cartoons explaining people looking at their retirement funds, their 401k, their superannuation, seeing it crash, seeing it plunge. We can see fortunes melting away. We can see trillions being lost. We can see supply lines of actual medicines across different countries. This could be a thing in other countries as the time goes on, because there would be other supply line issues. It's marvelous, isn't it? We've got bond slide deepens with no end in sight because we're going through this great experiment in the financial markets. We've got US Treasury yields have surged to multi-year highs, reflecting uncertainty over how the Fed will have to raise interest rates to tame inflation. Because it's like, do we raise the rates, push everyone into recession? What do we do? Let's have a look at the yield. It's still very, very low, in my opinion. Let's have a look at the energy sector. We've got lockdowns in China, and at the same time, record deep sea exploration by China. And on top of that, China will continue to maximize its use of coal. But you got to remember, coal is bad and it's bad for the environment. So other countries around the world shouldn't use coal. It's all there in black and white. It blows my mind, like, trying to explain this to people. Luckily, I've got examples. This one, maybe a day, maybe 2 days old now at the time of writing. Crypto movement at a glance. Crypto market continues to struggle amid mild positive buzz. I was trying to looking for positive things about cryptocurrency. At the time of this particular article, it was like 29,000, about 31,000. It's gone lower since then. Here in Australia, we had stock market losses, about 110 billion in value, Australian that is. Whatever that relates to the US. China needs to remove trade sanctions, says PM. That's just a little situation we're going on between Australia and China. In the US, we've got Dow Jones Industrial Average down 876 points. 876. That's not good. That's why I leave this little cartoon up saying this is if your savings are in this market, you are wrecked. Cryptocurrency, if your savings were recently put into cryptocurrency, you are wrecked also. And you got to remember, the Fed came out and explained that they call cryptocurrency a very high risk asset and shouldn't be used to plan for your future. So the Fed does not want you to succeed. Like, literally. ASX plunging more than 5% as global shock markets are smashed. Yes, we know this. And currently, Bitcoin, 21k. Ethereum is 1,166.71. And we've got Hex at 3.2 cents. So before we get into my theory, my potential strategy or analysis on what has happened and what could happen, I'll just go into this as well briefly. Biden says Zelensky didn't want to hear about invasion dangers. Why would, like, they got told intel Russia's probably going to do this, and they got ignored. So bring on the war, apparently. Bring on the war. The endless, never-ending wars, which is backed by all this, all the markets, and those markets are the same ones that are crashing and crushing everyone. And if you've got savings in these products, then you are now suffering. It's crazy. Like, I just hope this war doesn't continue to escalate and markets continue to crash as the war escalates. Like, it's almost like they're a distraction from each other. So whichever way you look, whichever direction you look toward, there's just blood in the streets, like, literally. Bitcoin drops below 21,000 briefly as crypto sell-off continues. We can see there breaking Coinbase, laying off more workforce, prepare for the recession and the crypto winter. Now, if you've stayed with me through this, through all the negativity, we can see supply issue, people losing money on all the assets, the Fed signaling crypto is bad, while at the same time signaling they're going to raise rates, while at the same time signaling we don't want to cause a recession, with other large countries doing the opposite in terms of their energy. They're shutting their waters down and stopping the flow of goods out whilst drilling for more deep sea oil wells and whilst using coal. But everyone else is being talked down to because they think that they can use coal because, you might need the base load for energy. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is this here. This is my analysis. This is my looking back at the prices of cryptocurrency. What would have happened if we step back and have a look at what would have happened? Say Pulsechain did launch. Now, someone else I think in community did mention this as well. If Pulsechain was launched in mid-May, if it was ready and all of that, would this huge crushing blow by the Fed, signaling heavily that crypto is bad, having hedge funds either pulling out in large figures or accumulating behind the scenes, I'm not sure which is taking place. If that was the case, would Pulsechain have been in a good position? Would Hex have been in a good position? Or would it have been released, pumped up, only to be absolutely wrecked by this market? Arguably, you could say, and you can actually see by the previous articles that have come out, the actions that took place in the chronological timeline, that because Pulsechain was delayed, yes, the price of Hex went down. But in a war, would you choose to go head on at your opponent, or would you try and, I don't know, not let your position be known to the enemy? Would you rather that you be stealth in a particular battle? I mean, I would personally like to think that a stealth attack would be more winnable than a front-on assault against, I don't know, the Fed, the entire economic system in place, huge institutional money, massive hedge funds, I don't know, all the top analysts, all sorts of shit. That it could be potential hurdles for a new cryptocurrency layer 1 solution like Pulsechain. They could be facing those things. That is a real threat, in my opinion, if you were to conduct a SWOT analysis. What is it? Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. That is it. That is my entire spiel. I personally think, through sheer coincidence, that Pulsechain and Hex and PulseX have dodged several bullets. Whether or not intentional or not, I don't know. Was it a genius 5D chess move by the African priest? Who knows? Who knows? Oh wait, no. The African priest is a joke in a long running joke regarding Hex, who controls the OA. If you're new to Hex, I always forget this. People haven't followed as long. So taking into account what I've just said about potential, I guess, strategies and releasing of a new product in a market like this with various hostiles, I call them hostiles. We have a tweet here by Richard Hart, the founder of Hex, believe the founder of Pulsechain and PulseX, basically saying, in the land of a 90% drop, the coin that went up the most is king. We can compare Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Hex over a time frame, maybe 1 to 2 years that have gone, 2.5. And which one went up the most? Maybe that's a subtle signal of how Hex and Pulsechain, I guess, may perform in the upcoming release of Pulsechain in this market, in these market conditions or similar, with hostiles, basically full frontal attacks being launched upon Hex, Pulsechain, most of the HEXicans, to be honest. So that is my spiel. Hope that made sense. Hope you got something out of that. And yeah, I'll talk to you all next time. All right, signing out.